It looks like Meghan Markle can never really hold on to anybody for, well, any length of time. But it does appear that, as ever, yes, to coin a phrase, chums, well, it really is her own fault. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today here on another wonderful, glorious day in the United Kingdom. And we have to count our blessings, right, chums? As you know, because you have to think, well, it's lovely, we've got some nice weather. The only thing's missing, I don't mind sharing this with you, is a nice ice lolly. I tried one of those Magnum Faker-like things recently. Have you tried those? Oh, the white chocolate ones, they're fatal. Yes, there's another few pounds you're going to be putting on once you've tried them. Is there any, I know I always ask this, but I love to know this. Is there anything that you've tried recently that you know is going to be one of your guilty sins, pleasures, you know, and you think to yourself, no, I need more of those? You know, I bought some cherries the other day and I thought they were lovely, but they were a bit bitter. So I've gone off those, but the white Magnum fake ones, you know, the ones from the cheaper shops, oh, delicious. Let me know, what's your secret guilty food pleasure, and what can you not get through once, you know, if you've started a bag, is there something that you keep on going? You know what I'm saying, don't you? Let's get back, of course, to your royal story of the day. Now, when you think about it, as I've said, Meghan Markle's gone through friends like, you know, old darn socks, hasn't she? I mean, she can't keep friends. And yet the whole premise of that as ever, you know, show, whatever, with Netflix is all about, I just want people to know how much I'm thinking of them. Well, clearly not a lot, you know, because as she's made these things, which we're supposed to believe she made that cake and all of that sort of stuff. And we know with 80 crew, there are food people behind the scenes that are making these things. She's just titivating them as they come along. And if you want to call me out on that, Meghan, do. I know how it operates and I know exactly what went on behind your show. But what's interesting here, you see, is she made this great proclamation, if you remember. And it was really all about when she had that friend in, Mindy Kaling, remember? Poor Mindy, that got shot down in flames because, of course, she dared to say that she was Meghan Markle and it was Meghan Sussex. And of course, this poor lady had no idea, and you could see, I don't know if anybody else picked up on the body language on this, but you could sense that Mindy was treading on eggshells. I mean, she was terrified of getting anything wrong. And this is not a friend. This is somebody who's looking for exposure and just going along with the plot to keep them sweet, you know? But then, of course, Meghan, in her infinite wisdom, decided to expose herself and show the world that, you know, she was a nice person and this was a brand new her. And this really all centered upon appearing on the daytime TV show Drew, hosted, of course, by the Oscar winner Drew Barrymore, famous for all of us, of course, as the E.T. girl. Now, a big fan of Drew, met her on a number of occasions, lovely, sweet, nice girl. And what a dynasty of acting, let me tell you. But what was interesting was, you see, as you know, and maybe you've forgotten this little bit, but Drew was forced to introduce Meghan Markle as Meghan Sussex. This was a big stipulation from the team behind the show. Right? Now, of course, what they really wanted to use, the Drew Barrymore show that is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. That's the selling point, you know, the connection to the royal family. And they thought this was going to be the deal. This is how they were going to do it. But oh, no. Meghan was insisting that it was going to be that. And then she had to do it. And of course, Meghan fell out with Drew, whichever way you look at it, because you see, Meghan and then had to coo over a picture of Princess Diana with Drew Barrymore. This was a focus away from her. She didn't like it. The idea was to just focus, as always, on Meghan. It was frosty behind the scenes, whatever they may say on the show. Very, very frosty. But where it's got even worse now is the fact that, you see, behind the scenes, Drew Barrymore is stunned to note that she's never called herself Meghan Sussex again in public, or insisted on anybody doing that, right? Even the latest podcast with the woman with the helium voice, they didn't have to introduce her as Meghan Sussex. So Drew feels like she's being used. No kidding, right? And so the thing is, that friendship has now deteriorated as well. Now, you could have maybe won this back, right, if you wanted to be kind. And what you could have done, Meghan, would have been to say, send over a complimentary bottle of 7 to the cast and crew of the Drew Barrymore show saying, terrific memory, please sample this. They may have even included this on the TV show. When, according to a source working on the show, they approached Meghan to see if there was any opportunity to help promote the wine, etc. Total silence. And that, my dear chums, is exactly why Meghan, seemingly and as ever allegedly, can't keep friends. Apparently, Drew is done with Meghan. Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.